Now on CoastTV News.
Cottage homes, public hearing what Georgetown Planning and Zoning is considering with the tiny properties.
Costco and Target on the table, but a big change is needed first.
Wagaman's weeds. Some people in Milton say the pond is invaded, but Denrec says they have a solution.
Scattered showers stick around for at least one more day before the weekend gets better.
This is CoastTV News at 5.
A mostly empty lot paving the way for cottages like the ones you see on the right. Good evening. I'm Madeline Overturf.
And I'm Christina DeRobertis. We begin tonight with Georgetown considering a new type of housing.
On the table today for the Georgetown Planning Commission is a public hearing about adding cottage houses in an area near East Market Street. Coast TV News reporter Ana Sofia Roman is in our newsroom. Ana Sofia, the town would have to adjust zoning regulations before that can happen.
Maddie, the goal of Little Living LLC, a Delaware-based nonprofit, is to bring affordable homes to people in the area. But before all that happens, Georgetown needs to amend the current urban residential 1 zone to allow cottage housing developments.
A cottage community could be built on just about 2 acres of East Market Street in Georgetown. Tony Vinciguerra, board member and secretary of Little Living, says there's a great shortage of affordable homes.
If you believe all the statistics, around 50% of renters today are spending more than 30% of their gross income on rent, which is above and beyond what the federal standards are. So what we're trying to do is create homes, 1, 2, and 3 bedroom homes that are affordable.
Monthly rent for the 1-bedroom homes will be $950. The 2 bedrooms will be $1,100 and the 3 bedrooms $1,200. All of them include utilities and internet access. For Sheila Woolard, who currently rents a room in Allendale, it's a great idea.
It makes me feel there's an opportunity for me to be able to afford a home.
Vinciguerra says the nonprofit has received loans and other donations to help fund this project.
All this is meant to fit in within their existing income so that they can then spend the rest of their money on health care, automobiles, taking their kids to events and so forth.
Plans to bring affordable housing to town.
The Georgetown Planning Commission will hold a public hearing today at 6 p.m. Back to you.
Thank you, Ana Sofia. Now, the Planning Commission she just mentioned is the first step. The Town Council's public hearing for the cottage homes would be October 27th. After that, the first reading for any ordinance change would be November 10th. A second reading is required if all approved, and then the ordinance to allow them, that would be adopted on December 8th.
Right now, the Sussex County Planning and Zoning Commission is holding a public hearing for the Atlantic Fields project. That's the massive shopping center we've been telling you about, proposed off Route 24. It includes Costco, Target, and Whole Foods. And Coast TV News reporter Brandon Ferguson is live in Lewis right now. Brandon, the hearing started at 3. It's still going on.
Christina, the hearing is for the rezoning of this land behind me, 695,000 square feet of currently agricultural residential. That must be changed to a C4 commercial district to allow for the buildings of those stores like Costco, Target, and Whole Foods. In total, the Atlantic Fields project calls for 23 buildings. People we spoke with in Sussex County have mixed opinions on this massive proposal.
I think we need some of the larger stores. Am I totally pro big box stores? Not really, but people do go there, and we do find a need there in the market. So I think it would be probably helpful for the market.
The Atlantic Fields volume, it's going to be a gridlock basically, unless there's a lot of work for the infrastructure that can be done ahead of time.
Right now, the applicant Mulberry Knoll LLC is presenting their plans for the Atlantic Fields project. After them, people who support the project will speak, followed by people who oppose the project. Live in Lewis, Brandon Ferguson, Coast TV News.
And this brings us right into our Coast TV poll. We want to know what concerns you about the proposed shopping mall.
Let's take a look at the results so far. 40% say nothing. They want that Costco, that Target, that Whole Foods, though 52% say the traffic increase. 7% say overdevelopment risk, and 1% say the environmental impact.
And we really want to know what you think here, so head over to CoastTV.com or use our mobile app and you can vote.
Leave a comment too, please. In Milton, many people consider Wagaman's Pond a jewel, but now some people who live nearby are worried about invasive species on the pond. You see some of that on there now, like creeping water primrose. Denrek, who manages Wagaman's Pond, says the water is dominated by 3 very difficult to control highly invasive species. But Denrek says they have a plan to deal with the excessive growth. People are still a little worried, though.
So the concern is if we can't stay ahead of this, it's going to overtake Wagaman's Pond, and that would be a huge loss, not to just those folks who live here, but to others who use the pond as well.
Denrek says they'll treat the creeping water primrose with herbicides in the coming weeks.
Now we are taking a live look outside into Laurel, and we're going to check in with our First Alert Chief Meteorologist, Paul Williams, on our forecast. Good evening, Paul.
Good evening to you. And you know what? We've had some rain throughout the day, and we're going to give you a calculation of what's happening with that rain. But we'll start seeing the rain taper off just in time as we get to our weekend. 68 degrees right now. We'll settle to 67 by 7 o'clock with partly to mostly cloudy skies. We're in the 70s right now, 71 in Redden, Georgetown, Laurel, and Millsboro, as well as Lewis. Now, we're actually 7 degrees warmer now, so we're actually going in the opposite direction where we have been. Take a look at some of the 24-hour rainfall. We had 1.68 in Milford, over 1.5 in Harrington, just shy of that in Ellendale. We had over an inch in Slaughter Beach as well as Jones Crossings. Official sites, we had just shy of 3/4 of an inch for us in Georgetown. A couple of other locations, over an inch in Dagsboro, Stokely, as well as Harbison, just shy of that in Prime Hook. Now, we're seeing the rain dwindle out for right now, but we do have at least a little more in the way of scattered showers still on the way. We'll talk about that coming up in great detail. Till then, back to you, Maddie.
Paul, thank you so much. A milestone for the Chesapeake Bay. According to the Chesapeake Bay Foundation, over 2,000 acres of oyster habitats have been restored. Advocates say this is key for the ecosystem's health, and oysters also naturally filter the water. The foundation says this is one of the largest oyster restoration efforts in the world.
The Delaware Department of Insurance has fined United Healthcare Insurance $450,000. The state says they were coverage disparities, prescription issues, also drug processing gaps. And if you want to learn more about this, we have a full article up right now. Just go over to CoastTV.com. Check it out. Well, President Trump was hosted by the British royal family today.
And as Tom Costello shows us, the president's visit comes while here at home there are issues that could impact your health and wealth taking center stage.
Pomp and pageantry on full display as President Trump spends his first full day with Great Britain's King Charles. The British and U.S. military bands performing what's known as Beating Retreat, a musical ceremony signaling the end of the day in ancient warfare. The U.S. Army Old Guard fife and drum serenaded the president and the king with Yankee Doodle Dandy. But outside the gates, protesters made their disdain known. From tariffs to foreign wars to Jeffrey Epstein, projecting images of President Trump and the convicted sex offender onto Windsor Castle. The president has downplayed his relationship with Epstein, recently calling the issue a hoax. Though the president is an ocean away on Capitol Hill, another Trump administration controversy taking center stage. Ousted CDC Director Susan Monares telling senators Health and Human Services Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. fired her because she refused to fire career officials without cause. Republican Senator Bill Cassidy, also a physician, questioned Monares on what specifically Kennedy, a known vaccine skeptic, asked her to do regarding vaccine policies.
He just wanted blanket approval.
Okay.
And if I could not commit to approval of each and every one of the recommendations that would be forthcoming, I needed to resign.
Lawmakers on both sides of the aisle focused on the future and questioning the impact if faith in vaccine science is undermined.
I worry about the future of trust in public health.
And on the financial front, the Federal Reserve today cut interest rates by a quarter point for the first time in a year. President Trump has pushed for lower rates to give consumers more buying power. But until today, the Fed had left rates unchanged, concerned that Mr. Trump's policies could lead to higher inflation and damage the economy. Tom Costello, NBC News, Washington.
A warning about how flooding like this can lead to a type of pollution. How Delaware's environmental agency says you can help.
Isolated showers expected for Thursday before the weekend weather clears out completely.
The Humane Society of Wicomico County at capacity. The urgent plea from the rescue. Up next.
This is Coast TV News at 5.
The Humane Society of Wicomico County says the shelter does not have a single open kennel right now. The Humane Society is anyone considering adopting or fostering a pet to do so now. It's asking everyone, don't bring any pets to the shelter. Instead, reach out to other rescues for help or maybe a loved one.
Delaware State Police have arrested 63-year-old Jeffrey Brower of Lewis. They're charging him with home improvement fraud. According to investigators, Brower had signed a contract with a 66-year-old from Lewis to do HVAC work. Troopers say Brower was paid $7,000 for the work. That was never done. Police say Brower turned himself in.
We take a look at our Bay forecast. We'll start off at 79 with still some scattered showers left over for Thursday. However, good news could be on the way for your weekend. Your full forecast is just around the corner. Now, if you remember, we talked about this being a bit of a soggy and gray, dismal kind of week, but things would clear out just in time for the weekend. Well, good news is that we're still staying with that initial game plan. Looks looking pretty nice for the weekend. We just got to get past today and definitely tomorrow. And after that, things are looking up, very much so. 70 degrees, Rehoboth Beach, and we'll drop to 67 by 8 o'clock, 66 by 9 o'clock, and the rain should subside for us. Now, we are in the low 70s right now in a lot of locations. 70 degrees in Rehoboth, Indian River Inlet, Bethany Beach, Dagsboro, Gumboro, as well as Salisbury and Del Mar. Now, the amount of precipitation varied. I mean, we had nearly 3/4 of an inch for us in Georgetown over the last, let's say, 24-hour period. But we have what's called an occluded front, which we don't typically see. It's marked by this purple view. It's when fronts overlap one another, okay? But even with that being the case, we're really more concerned about the rip current that's still under advisement to watch out for at least until 8 o'clock. For Rehoboth Beach, Dewey Beach, now this goes all the way down to Bayview Park, Fenwick Island, and then we have concerns for possible beach erosion in Ocean City, West Ocean City. This goes down to Golf Club Shores, and that reaches all the way down towards Chincoteague with the beach hazard statement. That's a combination of the churning waters and the winds combining with the waves pushing up on there and causing more damage. Small craft advisory is still active, watching out for 25-mile-per-hour winds until 7 o'clock this evening. Most of the winds should begin to back off a bit for us, with the exception along the Sussex County coast until about midnight. So that being the case, we have the winds right now pushing out of the southeast, relatively light. Now, as far as future gusts are concerned, we're looking for an about face with the winds coming out of the north for mid-morning Thursday. And then they begin to kind of collapse on shore, inland, and begin to break up. Now, as far as the rest of the evening is concerned, one of our models is indicating we'll see some scattered sprinkles begin to slide through the area, but nothing that's really all that cohesive or all-encompassing for the entire Delmarva Peninsula. Keeping a close eye on future waves, we're looking at by later on this evening between 4 to maybe 8 foot waves with the darker green. But you see how the waves are going to be backing off of us, giving us a chance to recover from any kind of flooding. Same holds true for us from Ocean View down towards Chincoteague. We'll start seeing those waves back off a bit for us. So Thursday morning we start off cloudy, but Thursday afternoon we have sunshine and 80 degrees. Sliding into that weekend pretty nicely. 62, low 60s in the morning time for Friday. Friday afternoon we will reach 86 degrees, probably feel like 90 to be quite honest. And then that'll set us up for a perfect weekend. One quick meteorological note, Tropical Storm Gabriel. All right, it's just a tropical storm for right now, and we're expecting for it to continue to move towards the north, and it'll eventually strengthen to a Category 1 with our spaghetti models, but I don't see it threatening the U.S. shore immediately. Here's a look at your extended forecast.
All right, Paul, thank you. With all the rain and flooding the past few days, the Delaware Department of Natural Resources says the water flowing over streets, lawns, and parking lots, that can actually lead to pollution because that flooding picks up things like car oil in parking lots or pesticides on your lawn. That's known as non-point source pollution. It's hard to track, DENREC says, and one of the leading causes of water quality problems in our state. DENREC says improving infrastructure to stop flooding and using green materials helps. Coming up tonight on the Delmarva Sports Network at 6, we have live college field hockey when Salisbury University hosts Stevenson University. And then the final score is at 10:30.
And along with that game of the night, here's what you can expect on DSN Plus at 5:30. We have some Bayside Conference field hockey. Decatur facing off against Queen Anne's, and Parkside is at Kent Island.
Sunday night football back on Coast TV. This Sunday, September 21st, the KC Chiefs are in the Big Apple to face the New York Giants. Coverage starts at 7 p.m. only here on Coast TV. And stay with us for our hyper-local news after the big game.
Watch for trains. How many people are killed at crossings and why that's being noted this week.
We salute James Tommy Anderson, a true American hero and member of the legendary Ghost Army during World War II. As part of the 23rd Headquarters Special Troops, Anderson used tactical deception like rubber tanks, sound effects, and clever illusions to mislead enemy forces and save tens of thousands of lives. He served bravely in multiple European theaters, including the Battle of the Bulge, where he endured injuries but refused to leave his unit. For his extraordinary service, he was awarded the Congressional Gold Medal in 2022. After the war, Tommy returned to Delaware, working well into his 90s and continuing to inspire all who knew him. He has left behind a legacy of courage, ingenuity, and unwavering dedication to his country.
Spicer Brothers and Coast TV are honoring military persons and first responders serving Delmarva. If you have a family member, friend, or community member that you would like to nominate for a Coast TV salute, go to coasttvsalutes.com.
The Delaware Department of Transportation wants you to help stop track tragedies. DelDOT says more than 2,300 people are injured or killed annually in railroad accidents in North America. More than 60% of collisions occur at crossings, even if they have lights and gates. DelDOT says, a reminder, you should stay 15 feet back from the tracks. And the agency says today's trains are quieter, so you might not hear them coming.
If you receive money from the federal government, you should make sure you could get it digitally. Listen to this. The Treasury Department plans to stop issuing paper checks for most payments on September 30th. That includes Social Security beneficiaries. For those who can't do direct deposit, the department says you can request a waiver. A House committee blocked a motion to subpoena banking records connected to the Jeffrey Epstein case. The committee voted 20-19 to table a subpoena request for the CEOs of 4 banks. Representative Jamie Raskin of Maryland initiated the request. He says the banks flagged $1.5 billion in transactions related to the sex trafficking crimes of Epstein.
The co-founder of Ben & Jerry's Ice Cream, Jerry Greenfield, quit the ice cream brand after 47 years. He says it's due to a disagreement with Unilever, who the pair sold their company to 25 years ago. And part of that deal was that they would keep their autonomy. Greenfield and Ben Cohen continued supporting peace and human rights for 2 decades, but last week he and Cohen asked Unilever to spin off their former company so it could operate independently. Unilever said no and denies it is silencing the co-founders.
Here's a live look into Milford. One more check on this rainy day forecast after the break.
Coming up new on Coast TV News at 6, thousands of volunteers across the country headed to veteran cemeteries and memorial sites, how they're showing respect to our veterans and more.
In Laurel, overcast cloud cover sticking around will drop to 67 degrees by 9 o'clock. Here's the last remnants of the scattered showers along Highway 13 between Bridgeville and Seaford is where we're seeing it, actually the heaviest amount. Umbrella giveaway winner Charles Rossi of Lewis, congratulations, courtesy of Paul Davis. Keep up with your forecast by calling our weather line, sponsored by the law offices of Brockstedt, Mandalis, and Federico. And finally, here's a look at your exclusive 10-day forecast. Yeah, we got another wave of rain on Thursday, but just wait until the weekend where it clears out nicely.
All right, Paul, thank you, and thanks for joining us here for Coast TV News at 5.
For more news and local weather, you can download our Coast TV News app.
Inside Edition is up next.
And we'll see you later tonight for Coast TV News at 6. Have a great evening.